I'll explain to you the diggers thing. Okay, it's been a while since they embraced the name diggers. Let me explain to you the whole diggers thing. People in locals, those hanging out my chat, they call themselves diggers. The reason they call themselves diggers is because a long time ago I told over a story. I was watching what was happening in the chat there. And I'm having this conversation about, I don't know, whatever, the 2020 election. And they're like having this conversation, and I look in the chat there, and they're having this dialogue going on about, I don't know, peyote. It was like the most ridiculous thing in the world. Every time I would look in there, they're having this conversation which has zip to do with anything that I'm discussing. And I was like, you guys remind me of when I was a counselor. So in my camp counselor career, the longer I was a counselor, the younger the kids they would give me. And I started off like when I was like 14 or 15, I was like a counselor's assistant. And that when I had like 12-year-olds who were like, and then when I got, and then the next year, I had like 9-year-olds when I was a JC. And then the next thing I know, and I kept telling the director, I like playing sports. I want to have older kids. The next year, they gave me 6-year-olds. I was so outraged. But what I realized when I was taking care of 6-year-olds, what I learned was this. The best way to get a bunch of 6-year-olds who are in camp to do what you want them to do is instead of telling them to do it, you basically make yourself like you're the leader of a group, cult, and you basically just go out there and you say, hey, I'm going to go play softball. Any of you want to come? You can come along. And then they all just follow along. That's what happens. They just like, and I just sort of made myself like I was like the leader, and then like, you know, make teams and like whatever and do your thing, and you play some softball or some kickball or some dodgeball or some nukem or whatever it is. You play your sport and you have your time. And all the kids would really get into it. And I love playing, you know, I always loved playing sports. So, you know, it was the perfect job for me. But like what I found was that there was this group of people who I would call diggers. It did not matter what the sport was, didn't matter what we were doing. They had zero interest in joining in. Whatever it is, it was insane. I couldn't find any sport, not soccer, not hockey, not anything. Basketball, baseball, softball, kickball, dodgeball, volleyball, nothing. They just wanted to take a stupid little stick, that their twig that they would find, and they would sit, 3 or 4 of them would just sit in the corner, and they would take their stupid little stick and just dig holes in the ground. We could be having a phenomenal time playing kickball. No. My diggers are off doing their own thing. They're just a bunch of diggers. They're fascinated by taking some stupid, like I don't know, like cavemen by fire, but it's like they find their stupid little stick, and that's what my diggers would do. They would just be like, ooh, I'm digging a hole in the ground. I was like, this is the stupidest. Who's interested in this? Who's interested in this? I remember one time, so that's how they got the name diggers. That's how my local, because they basically are doing their own stupid things. Private group, which is hanging around me, doing their own stupid things, having their own ridiculous conversations, has nothing to do with anything that's happening here. But they're all having fun, because what I realize is, as long as they're happy, at the end of the day, they're happy. I don't care if they play. You don't want to play. If you're happy with a stupid stick that you're just digging a hole in the ground. All right, they're still here. They're safe. They're not wandering off. I guess I can deal with that. But those are my diggers. Remember, there's one of my diggers. His name is Moshe Peretz. Moshe Peretz was this kid. It's funny to think to myself now that this kid is probably like 40. But I remember one time I had to kill 10 minutes before, and then we were out we used to eat in this big group tent lunch, and we got there too early. And I had to kill 10 minutes, and there was a field outside. This is how a digger thinks. This is why I'm sharing this story with you. This is how a digger thinks. Okay? And so, like, I had a thing where I had, like, like 7-10 minutes. I was like, I don't have time to play anything with them. By the time I march them back to like into the thing, I had to turn around and march them there. So there was a field right outside the tent. So I was like, all right, I killed 10 minutes with these kids. So I said, okay, whoever tackles me is gonna get doubles in snack. Tackle me and you get doubles in snack. And I start running around the field and they're all chasing after me. And I'm like sort of grabbing them and sort of like dropping them down on the ground and then like running around and sort of like, like tripping them and making sure they're not falling, like face planting into the ground. And apparently during this rough housing, I got a little, I must have kicked this kid or whatever. But I see when it's time, like blowing the whistle, time for us to come in for lunch. So Moshe Peretz, one of my diggers, crying. He's crying and he's crying. And I was like, why are you crying? What happened? He's like, you kicked me. I fell down. I hurt my knee. Look at my knee. You kicked me, hurt my knee. And I'm like, oh, God. Oh, gosh. This is not what I need. So I was like, okay, I got to distract this kid, right? So I was like, Moshe Peretz, if you get anything in the world, if I can give you the world right now, anything in the world, I'm thinking he's going to say ices, soda, whatever. That's what a kid's going to say. No, what does this digger say to me? Digger goes to me. He looks at me like really hopeful. And he goes, sticky paper and cardboard? And I was like, he goes, sticky paper and cardboard. I don't know what the heck that even means. I don't know. What does that mean? Sticky paper and cardboard. That's what this 6-year-old digger said to me. Sticky paper and cardboard. I was like, you want sticky paper and cardboard? You got sticky paper and cardboard. He's like, yeah, sticky paper. I don't think I ever got him that. He was ecstatic. I don't know. That's how diggers think. They don't want ices. They don't want soda. They just want to dig. And if they're really, really upset, sticky paper and cardboard. All right.